No rehashing of homilies and prayers, just abandoned attempts at messages and sermons for conclusion. Just sitting and staring into the face of despair, refusing to blink. Foolish me, writing words to say that I have no words, knowing that I will share these words so that others will know that I have none that are adequate. Foolish me, all I really have are words.
Marie?
The court of the innocent at the gates of heaven is 21 souls larger today, 2 adults and 19 children shot dead. They bring their blood as evidence against us, as evidence of our failure to protect them and the impotence of our rage. The court of the innocent at the gates of heaven have stopped listening to our speeches. They no longer say amen to our prayers. They've turned our backs to us, as we have turned our backs to them. The court of the innocent at the gates of heaven ministered to the souls of the newly murdered. They ministered to those cut down by guns and violence, by politics and inaction, tending to these recent companions in death, consoling their lifeless hearts.
Dear God, place me as a speck upon a ray of light, constant and sure. Do we read across?
No, down.
Sorry. Illuminated like a particle of dust in the sweep of destiny. I reach my hand across the expanse. I turn to you in prayerful discernment and walk as a faithful partner, doing what I can, what I must, what is in my power. No more, no less. Constant and sure. Letting go. Let it be. God of all, source and sustainer of mystery, teach me, guide me, open my heart, that I may live with renewed energy and humility and limited consequence.
Would you like to read?
The energy of violence, suffering, and hatred obliterates the stars, wraps our hearts in darkness. There are 21 more black holes this time in Texas. Please let there be no more, not live in constant sorrow. How long will we speak of rights and not of truths that are self-evident? There is no freedom in slaughter of innocents. There is no liberty without life. We will weep and mourn and pray, that filling us rise to heal the bereaved, the lost, the brethren, and make whole all that is broken.
As the heavens fill day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year, with those taken too soon, a heavenly court grows. In it sit those taken, those who know, those who have paid the true price of recklessness, masquerading as freedom. They bear witness to our ongoing news cycle, our doom, scrolling and spiraling, our numbness, our tears, us. And they pronounce judgment, quickly, justly, mercifully, for they are the truth and see to it, that change is ordered as it is in the heavens. May it be so on earth. May our courts, our places of power, our streets filled with those who know Christ and who will make change.
On the next page is Gomel, and Gomel is a prayer that says, oh my gosh, we've gone through a terrible experience, and so we join together. All right, on page 6. You are in need of healing. You seek comfort in your distress. You would wash yourself clean of the memory of pain, of anger and fear. Know that you are loved. Know that God sustains you by giving you the strength to heal your wounds of body and spirit. I have been wounded, but I can heal. Let my hurt not keep me from caring about the hurt that others feel. I have been helpless, but I can act. Let my suffering not keep me from reaching out to help others. God, give me wisdom to know that you are with me even now, to overcome my pain, my anger, and my fear, to accept the help of those who care for me. God, give me strength to return to love of family and friends. The God who has implanted within you the power of healing, be with you now and heal you. who created the world with light, bring light to your eyes. The Eternal One is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? God is the stronghold of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid? May the God whom we call the hope of Israel plant hope in your heart. You want to read?
When evil darkens our world, give us light. When the Spirit numbs our souls, give us hope. When we stumble and fall, lift us up. When doubt assails us, give us faith. When nothing seems sure, give us trust. When ideals fade, give us good vision. When we lose our way, hear God, that we may find peace in your presence and purpose in doing your will.
So this prayer is offered for the children who are trying to heal from their wounds, who are afraid, and who are struggling. And we join together.
For the children, God of the innocent, what is this terror that has invaded our world? We see a gray and awful shadow looming. Don't tell us the monsters are real. Hush, child. Lay your head upon my heart, little one. Feel the healing touch of my love. If only I could suffer in your stead. I am strong, you are your child. Pray with me. God, lift the pain and fear from this tender life. Grant us courage, miracle, healing, redemption from pain. Guide doctors, may their wisdom still prevail. May the compassion of the nurses ease our fear and uncertainty. God of the innocent, protect us.
At this point, we are going to join together in Misha Beirach for all those who have suffered so much anguish in the past few days, and just to send our hopes and our prayers. And so we join together in the Misha Beirach. Misha Beirach, Avotenu, Mekor HaBracha, Imotenu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mishe Beirach, Imotenu, Mekor HaBracha, Avotenu. Bless those in need of healing, with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. Blessed are you, Adonai our God, sovereign of the universe, who has bestowed every goodness upon us. Amen. May the one who has bestowed goodness upon us continue to bestow every goodness upon us forever. Amen. We are going to, at this point, turn to page 2 in our prayer books. We will come back to the next set of pages later on. So, page 2.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who houses us with mitzvot, commanding us to kindle the light of Shabbat.
Page 6. Together, we enter this sanctuary to welcome Shabbat. Within these walls, we sit surrounded by numberless generations. Our ancestors built the synagogue as a visible sign of God's presence in their midst. Throughout our long history and our endless wanderings, it has endured. A beacon of truth, love, and justice for all humanity. Its presence guided our ancestors to lives of righteousness, holding up to them a vision of their truest selves. Now we, in our turn, come into this sanctuary to affirm the sacredness of our lives. May we enter this place in peace. May holiness wrap around us as we cross its threshold. Weariness, doubt, the flaws of our human hearts, the harshness of the weak, let these drop away at the door. In the brightness of Shabbat, let peace settle upon us as we lift our hearts in prayer. Page 10. You want to sing? Top of the page, we join together. Adonai is sovereign, let the earth exalt, the many islands rejoice. Dense clouds are around God, righteousness and justice are the base of God's throne. Love Adonai, hate evil. God guards the lives of God's loyal ones, saving them from the hand of the wicked. Light is sown for the righteous, radiance for the upright. O you righteous, rejoice in Adonai and acclaim God's holy name. And we turn to Lechadot B, page 20. Page 20. Okay. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei HaMalachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Lachem Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei HaMalachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei HaMalachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzedek Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei HaMalachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Page 26. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, Ve'almad yivrach yirutei v'yamlich malchutei, V'chayechon uvyomechon, uv'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael, Ba'agala, u'v'yizman ha'ariv, V'neru, amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevorach, le'olam u'me'omaya, yitbarach. Yitbarach v'yishtabach, v'yitpa'ar v'yitroman v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yithalal, shemei b'kudashah b'richu, le'elam yitkol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran yoma, v'neru, amen. Please rise. La 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 Page 30. Together, blessed are you, Adonai our God, ruler of the universe, who speaks the evening into being, skillfully opens the gates, thoughtfully alters the time and changes the seasons, and arranges the stars in their heavenly courses according to plan. You are creator of day and night, rolling light away from darkness and darkness from light, transforming day into night and distinguishing one from the other. Adonai Tsebaot is your name. Ever-living God, may you reign continually over us into eternity. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings on evening. Baruch atah Adonai, Amahariv Aravim. Page 32. Ahavat Olam, Beit Yisrael, Amecha Ahavita, Amcha Ahavita. Page 37. And we join together. Love your God with every heartbeat, with every breath, with every conscious act. Keep in mind the words I command you today. Teach them to your children. Talk about them at work, whether you are tired or you are rested. Let them guide the work of your hands. Keep them in the forefront of your vision. Do not leave them at the doorway of your house or outside your gate. They are reminders to do all of my mitzvot so that you can be holy for God. I am Adonai, your God. I led you out of Egypt to become your God. I am Adonai, your God. Page 39. In a world torn by violence and pain, a world far from wholeness and peace, give us the courage to say, Adonai, there is one God in heaven and earth. From bondage in Egypt we were delivered. At Sinai we bound ourselves to your way.
Inspired by prophets and instructed by sages, time and again we obtain Christ's forces.
Though our failings are many and our faults are great, it has been our glory to bear witness to our God, keeping alive in dark ages your vision of a world redeemed.
Let us continue to work for the day when nations will be one in peace. Then shall we rejoice as Israel did, singing on the shores of the sea.
And I heard you say you were going to do Mi Chamocha? Thus it is said, Adonai redeemed Jacob from a hand stronger than his own. Praised are you, Adonai, for redeeming Israel. Baruch atah Adonai, Ga'al Israel. Page 42. And Jack, I heard that you were going to do that. Page 42. Ufros Hashkidim.
All right, the third line, the Hebrew and the third line of English. Ufros Aleinu, Sukkot Shlomecha, Ufros Aleinu, Sukkot Shlomecha, spread over all of us the
Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat l'dorotam b'tolam. Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat l'dorotam b'tolam. B'nei Yisrael Ohi le'olam, Ohi le'olam. Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat l'dorotam b'tolam. Asa Adonai et hashamayim v'et haaretz vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat l'dorotam b'tolam. U'bayom hashvi'i Shabbat v'yinafash, Shabbat v'yinafash, Shabbat v'yinafash. Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat l'dorotam b'tolam. Page 46. Please rise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu 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 Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzhak Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel Elohei Leah Ha'el Ha'adol Ha'ibor Ha'norah El Elyon Gomer Chasadim Tovim V'Konei Ha'kol V'Zocher Chasdei Avot V'Imahot U'Mevi'u La'Ifnei Mehem L'man Shemo B'Yahava Melech Ozer Moshiach U'Madei Baruch atah Adonai Magen Olam V'Ezrat Tzarav Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai Mechayeh HaKol Atah L'Moshiach Mechakel Chaim B'Chesed Mechayeh HaKol B'Rachamim Rabim Somer Noflim V'Rofeh Cholim U'Matir Asurim U'Mekayeh Emunato L'Shenei Yafar Michamocha Ba'al Diburot U'Midom Melech Melech Melis U'Mechayeh holy, and those who are holy praise you every day. Blessed are you, Adonai, the holy God. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el ha'kadosh. Have a seat. On the top of 55. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. Together, may all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day, and may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat. Page 56. Together, find favor, Adonai, our God, with your people Israel, and accept their prayer in love. May the worship of your people Israel always be acceptable. God, who is near to all who call, turn lovingly to your servants. Pour out your Spirit upon us. Let our eyes behold your loving return to Zion. Blessed are you, Adonai, whose presence returns to Zion. Baruch atah Adonai, hamachazir shekinato l'tzion. Page 59. Together in the English all the way down to the bottom line. God of goodness, we give thanks for the gift of life, wonder beyond words, for the awareness of soul, our light within, for the world around us so filled with beauty, for the richness of the earth which day by day sustains us. For all these and more we offer thanks. When we behold your heavens, the work of your fingers, the moon and stars that you set in place, what are we humans that you are mindful of us? We mortals that you take note of us. You made us little less than divine, adorned us with glory and majesty. You gave us dominion over your handiwork, laying the world at our feet. How majestic is your name throughout the earth. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha u'elchana el ha'ardot. Would you guys like to lead Shalom Rav? Page 60. Turn to page 60, top of page. Yes? No? Good. If you would please take out your sheet, and it should say Shavuot and Revelation. We're doing a warm-up for Revelation because we're going to. So I figured it was Friday night, so we would do at least part of the Revelation and the holiday, a little tiny bit. But on Sunday, we're going to be present for a little while in the where everybody's going to be working upstairs. We're going to take a little bit of a break, and we will also be doing a little mini Shavuot explanation, and little service will open up the ark and all that kind of stuff there upstairs. So that also gets you all upstairs to come and join with us. All right, so you should have in front of you Shavuot and Revelation, and so we're talking about these two holidays. You guys all read, right? Okay, so you want to read on number 1? No, Barb, you want to read?
Yes. The revelation at Mount Sinai is shrouded for us by the mists of antiquity. But this we know, it has released a torrent of spiritual energy that transformed Israel into a people of priests and prophets, bringing enlightenment to humanity. It inspires and guides us still, and it will redeem the world.
So as we look at that, did it strike you in any particular way, or was it just something you were sort of automatically reading? This concept of revelation shrouded at Mount Sinai, what would that feel like, do you think?
Mystical.
Really mystical, right? Because the whole area of Sinai was covered with some kind of very mystical cloud that made it work for everybody, and that it brought a very special, unique kind of experience, very unlike anything else. Let's go to the next one, to number 2. Want to read?
The mountains swore with each other, each wanting the Shekinah.
Shekinah is the feminine presence of God.
To rest on it. Each extolled its own height and distinction, God said. My presence will rest on Sinai, the smallest and most insignificant of all. In this, Sinai resembled the humility of Moses, who did not want to accept the mantle of leadership.
Why would Moses say that? Why wouldn't Moses say, hey, I'm in charge, just follow me?
It's a big responsibility.
It's a huge responsibility. There were, 600,000 people, right? Maybe
More or
a little
less.
less, but, you know. Yeah. And having a sense of why we connect so deeply with God takes us to another place. It brings us a little further out from transforming us into a place of humanity and enlightenment. Let's look at number 3. You want to read?
What is Torah? It is what God revelation of Moses and the vision of the prophets, the commentary of the rabbis, and the insight of the mystics. It is the questions we ask, the answers we receive when we seek to understand God, the world, and ourselves.
And this happens to be one of the passages I think is so wonderful, because we're asking questions, we're discovering answers, and we're coming together, all of us united. We're going to move on to number 4. Repeat.
When other nations were asked to accept the Torah, they declined after learning that its commands contradicted their national practices. But Israel accepted the Torah even before it had heard its full demands and said, "We will do and we will listen." They promised to carry out God's will before they had learned its commands.
That quote, have you heard that before? That quote in English? We will do and we will listen. Now, save and yishma, 2 words in Hebrew. We will do and we will listen. So we were being commanded in a particular way. And God was saying we were saying to God, we will do what you're telling us, God, and we'll listen. Why do they not flip it the other way? Why wouldn't they just say, we'll listen to you, God, it's okay, and then we'll do it? Why do they change the wording to make it say we will do and we will listen?
I think the Israelites were committing themselves to God and then saying, we're committed to you. Now tell us what our obligations are.
We made a promise.
Commitment was us to God, even before God was giving us instruction.
Absolutely. And it's this very powerful line that gets brought out in a number of different texts in Judaism. We will do it, God. Just tell us what to do, we're going forward. And we will do it whatever way you want us to do so that we can be the people of Israel. Take a look at number 5. Yep.
Even so, God hesitated to give the Torah to Israel and asked for bondsmen who would guarantee its observance. Israel offered the patriarchs and the prophets, and some say, heaven and earth. But God deemed all of these pledges insufficient. The Israelites then offered their children, including those yet to come. God agreed.
Okay. In that last sentence, we hear what?
He was kind of a little dubious until they actually pledged that they would give him their children, even their unborn ones.
Right. And it's so, so important. And imagine that they went through all of these different kinds of situations, right? They wanted bondsmen, and they offered the patriarchs and the matriarchs, and the whole big lineup was all there. But God said, the most important thing is your children, your grandchildren. Take care of them, bring them up in the Jewish people. Page 6. We're going to go to number 7. Okay, so you guys want to start? We'll go around and there and that way. Go ahead. Number 7.
One word spoken emphatically here. Ever since in contemplation and in will, it has had special emphasis. The people, all the people. That is the fundamental principle. The people receive this revelation here. Not just chosen ones within it, but the people as a whole, as one individuality, was placed into obligation, into responsibility, into unified existence. There are no representatives here, no one who could assume the task for others. This people's appearance was immediate and complete, then and always.
Thank you. Lisa?
The 10 Commandments are for all peoples, and they will be, during all the centuries, the commandments of God.
When God gave the Torah, no bird sang, no fowl flew, no ox bellowed. The angels did not sing, the sea ceased to roar, and all creatures were silent. The entire world was hushed into stillness, and then the divine voice spoke forth, God.
Can you imagine even just a little tiny bit of what it would feel like? Imagine a place that you've been, and you suddenly have this feeling that you never had before. And it changes you just a little bit. And it brings you to a different place where you start to think and start to come together in a more unique and special way. When we were up at Mount Sinai in Israel, they had us walk up these sort of stone steps going all the way up Mount Sinai. They kind of made us do it in the middle of the night. It was like 3 o'clock in the morning because they wanted to make sure that we would get there on time. Gotta tell you, we got to the very top and we all went to sleep. But we tried. But there was this real feeling. We got to the top of Sinai, everybody slept for a little bit, they woke us up. And you had this amazing feeling. Looking out over the hills, the mountains, imagining what it would be like if you were one of the people down below, wondering where Moses was, wondering what you were learning, hoping that he was going to come back. And it changed the way that people thought. And it brought people together even more tightly. I want to go on to 10, just keeping it in your mind because I don't want to keep you here all night. So this is a prayer that I happen to love. It was by Larry Kushner, wonderful, wonderful author. I think his initial teachings were about 1973, 1974, somewhere like that. He said, wait a minute, how come there are no women in any of these texts? And they started adding in some women and bringing more people in. This particular text is really unique. And imagine, I'm not going to have you stand up to open up the ark, but imagine what it felt like and how you would connect. Somewhere out of time, in the mystery of time, somewhere between memory and forgetfulness. Dimly, though, I remember how once I stood at your holy mountain, trembling amid the fire and the thunder. How I stood there, out of bondage, in a strange land and afraid. And you loved me, and you fed me, and I feasted on your words. And yes, I can remember how the thunder was my heart and the fire was my soul. God, I do remember. The fire burns in me anew, and here I am once more, a witness to that timeless moment. Present now in the light of your Torah, I am reborn. Read. Somebody. You guys read. Somebody read it. Go ahead.
It lasted an eternity. It lasted an instant. It was an incident in human history not to be measured with the limited apprehension of man, but belonging to the province of the eternal and the infinite of divinity. And therefore it is impossible to speak of the duration of the exalted episode. Only when the voice of God ceased from speaking did the world fall back into its framework of time and space, and only then did Israel experience the fullness of fear. It was a peculiar dread of the ungraspable. They did not know where they were, whether on the earth or still hovering in space with God, held by the invisible power of the flying mountain.
Each Israelite heard what was in his power to do. No one can by himself observe all the commandments, for some are addressed to the priests, others to women, to owners of fields and houses, and so forth. Only all of Israel together can do God's will completely, hence all the people answered as one.
Israel was to stay pure today and tomorrow. Today was easy now.
the next passage, I'll have each person read, the 2 lines that are there, and we'll continue going around. All right? So, you want to start? Okay.
We affirm our faith in Torah, our people's legacy of learning and faith.
Okay.
There are no words more challenging than "you shall be holy," no command more basic than "you shall love."
There is no insight so fundamentalist in the beginning fact. No one so right in his simplicity. You shall rest.
No cry is more compelling than "let my people go." No consolation more
Comforted.
comforting than "I am with you in your distress."
There is no vision more hopeful than "they shall reap their swords into plowshares," and no summons more demanding than "justice, justice shall be pursued." These words have outlived monuments and empires. We want them to live through us until the end of time.
Thank you. Robert?
We owe it to our ancestors to keep Torah alive. They struggled and suffered to preserve our way of life. They knew this to be their most precious gift to us.
We owe it to our children to keep Torah alive. But why should they be spiritual paupers when the riches of this heritage can be theirs?
We owe it to the world to keep Torah alive. This is a message which the world needs to hear.
We owe it to God to continue as a people to share God's truth, to bear witness to God's sovereignty, and to live the words of Torah.
Only in moments when we are able to share in the spirit of awe that fills the world are we able to understand what happened to Israel at Sinai. Revelation means that the thick silence which fills the endless distance between God and the human mind was pierced. And we were told that God is concerned with our human affairs, that not only do people need God, but God is also in need of humanity. It is such knowledge that makes the soul of Israel immune to despair. Okay, we are going to continue now on with the Mishabera, and that's on page 253, 253. So at this moment, we find ourselves with, of course, so many people that are in need of healing. Is there anybody here who is thinking and praying for somebody in need of healing? Anybody?
Your Aunt Sidell.
Anybody else?
Susan Spence.
Elaine Phillips.
We also think about Rhonda and Steve Bear, and so we keep them in our hearts as well. Is there anybody else? So we turn, as I said, to page 253, and we join together in Mishaberach as we think about our community and all those people that we care about, all those people throughout our communities. And we join together. Help us find the courage page 258 at the bottom of the page. Together, O guardian of life and liberty, may our nation always merit your protection. Teach us to give thanks for what we have by sharing it with those who are in need. Keep our eyes open to the wonders of creation and alert to the care of the earth. May we never be lazy in the work of peace. May we honor those who have died in defense of our ideals. Grant our leaders wisdom and forbearance. May they govern with justice and compassion. Help us all to appreciate one another and to respect the many ways that we may serve you. May our homes be safe from affliction and strife, and our country be sound in body and spirit. Amen. Pray for the peace of Jerusalem. May those who love you prosper. O Heavenly One, together, protector and redeemer of Israel, bless the state of Israel, which marks the dawning of hope for all who seek peace. Shield it beneath the wings of your love and spread over it the canopy of your peace. Send your light and truth to all who lead and advise, guiding them with your good counsel. Establish peace in the land and fullness of joy for all who dwell there. Amen. So in just a moment, I'm going to take just a moment and share with you just a couple announcements. The first is for women only. We have a couple openings left, and we are working with the women at the mosque, and we're going to have 10 women from the congregation here and 10 women at the mosque. And we're all going to be joining together this coming Thursday. And we came up with this really great name because we had no other idea, so we call it Hey You Women. And so we're going to be there at 6:30 at Maycom. And we invite you all there if you're female. So anyway, it was an idea to bring people together, and we'll see what happens. As well, let's see, Thursday. That over the next couple weeks. Well, first of all, this coming weekend, we're doing, of course, Torah study, and then after that, we are talking about and working on the spots upstairs that have to be fixed so that all the kids will be in good setting. And on that day, on Sunday, we will be talking and doing a little bit with the Torah because it will be Shavuot. And so we will have a short Shavuot service at the same time. Okay. We're going to turn now to page 282. One more reminder, sorry. And that is that Jack and I are going to be gone for a couple weeks. We're actually taking a vacation, which is sort of amazing. And we will be gone for a couple weeks, for 3 weeks, a little bit shorter maybe. And so we are looking forward to seeing you when we come back. We're waiting till after the holiday, and then y'all have my phone number and all that kind of stuff. So anything that you need from me while we're away, you just call me and we'll take care of it. So I just wanted to remind you of that. Okay, now, page 282. Please rise. We are going to be continuing on 294. Do we have anybody who is saying Kaddish today that would like to be? Okay, let's have a seat for a moment. And we know that with you guys in the back there, that we are thinking about you all the time and knowing how difficult things are. And we hope, all of us, and we pray that you will find a sense of wholeness and well-being and a sense of understanding and anything else that it is that you might need so that we can be helpful to you. Is there anything that you want to say or anything in particular? No? Yes? Maybe? Okay. So in that case, if you would turn please to page 294. Our thoughts turn to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people whose graves are unmarked, and those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, we meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and of death. Please rise. We remember those who passed this year. Lawrence Berlin, father of Becky Trieber. Gloria Cohen, mother of Mary Beth Cohen. John Woods, partner of Edie Schultz. Lucas Jacob Schwartz, grandson of Barb and Mike Schwartz. Eleanor Zaraski, mother of Richard Zaraski. Elaine Beneshu, father of Remy Beneshu. Margaret Routman Schoenfeld, aunt of Carol Lowenstein. Jeanette Catherine Scrow, mother of Greg Scrow and daughter-in-law of Leslie. Susan Thayer Lieber, sister of Sarah Estep and sister-in-law of Les Estep. Istvan Steve Cortez, cousin of Eva Muller. Joseph F. Zaraski, brother of Richard Zaraski and brother-in-law of Betsy. Dr. Arthur Frank and Amber Barnhart, brother of Stuart Frank and brother-in-law of Amber Barnhart. Dolores Rothschild, wife of Harvey Rothschild. Mark Kessler, brother of Gary Kessler. We also remember all those who died at this season in years past. Henrietta Baer, Dorothy R. Barker, Seal Behrens, Albert A. Berg, Berman Cohen, Herman H. Cohen, Rachel V. Deutsch, Morris Goldfarb, Arnold Goodman, Marcus D. Hexter, Bernice Jennings, Sylvia Lang, Henry McCarthy, Marguerite B. Miller, Daniel Seligman, Lou Shapiro, Jeanette B. Simmons, Frank Simmons, Dorothy Spence, and Sue Wolfson. We think of these loved ones who have passed away. We hold them so tightly in our hearts, and we love them so much. We join together in Kaddish prayer. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, Yalmad yivrach yerutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayei v'yomei v'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael, ba'agalah u'bizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shemei Rabbah mevorach le'olam olmei omaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitbahar v'yitroman v'yitnaseh. V'yithadar v'yithaleh v'yithalal shemei d'kudusha barichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechamata. Da'amiran v'yoma v'yamru. Amen. Yehei shlomo Rabbah min shemaya v'chayim. Aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'yamru. Amen. Osei shalom b'mramat. V'ya osei shalom. Aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'yamru. Amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us and to all Israel, to which we all say, Amen. Have a seat. And we are going to turn to, where did I put it? Hava Nagila. Hava Nagila. I knew I put it on the other page. Okay, page 350, Hava Nagila, and we join together. And somebody lead?